Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
Alright, so Kenobi writer Joby Harold explains the decision to have Kenobi learn of Anakin's survival 10 years after Mustafar. Harold spoke to the Wrap and talked on Kenobi's belief that he killed Anakin, only learning the truth years later. He noted that he made sure to consult with Lucasfilm's story team, specifically Pablo Hidalgo, who is credited as the special lore advisor for the series. So he's the one to blame for lore inconsistencies.
Which doesn't make sense because he's supposed to be the master lore keeper, but okay.
Here's what Harold said. Obi-Wan learning about Anakin was actually not something I pitched originally. That was something I learned along the way and sort of had to confirm with Hidalgo and really think. Hold on a second. What does he actually know? Does he know the moniker Vader? What would that mean? Can he associate the two? What was he cognizant of? How isolated is he? Where's Vader at that time? And where's his reputation and how well is he known? All those pieces to the puzzle. So Joby Harold didn't know anything.
Well, one of those questions is a really bad question that he should know the answer to. That's the moniker Vader. Obi-Wan absolutely certainly knows.
They're not saying that Pablo didn't know. They're saying Harold didn't know.
Well, if you're writing the Obi-Wan Kenobi series in a time set between these two films, between A New Hope and Revenge of the Sith, you should absolutely know that Obi-Wan Kenobi knows the moniker Darth Vader, that he's seen it in Revenge of the Sith in the hologram when they go to the Jedi Temple and learn of the massacre and everything. He is directly referred to by Palpatine, by Sidious, as Darth Vader. Mm-hmm. So there is no way, no how that should be a question. That should be off the table. And him asking that, I've seen a lot of people really upset about that because it does tend to imply you didn't know Revenge of the Sith. And someone who doesn't know Revenge of the Sith is writing a series between, set again between these two films about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right, I mean, as to the, where's Vader at that time? What's his reputation? How well known is he? Well,
that's more up in the air.
That is. I mean, Vader, I don't believe, was a big figure in, day-to-day operations of the galaxy. I think he took on more of a public role when he was fighting the Rebel Alliance after the destruction of the Death Star. I think in the meantime, he was kind of like a figure in the shadows unless Palpatine called on him.
Here's the problem with that. That's always what I assumed. I assumed the average person had never heard of Darth Vader. They might know that there's some shadowy figure. There might be rumors and stories and legends or whatever you want to call it out there of some shadowy figure, servant of the Empire who does evil things. Sure. But now we've kind of had it implied in the Kenobi series that Inquisitors are just, very well known. Even on Tatooine, they're like, we know the Inquisitors. We know who you are. We know what you are. We know all about the Jedi. They've made it seem like all of this is such common knowledge that I do wonder, is Vader more front and center than maybe we originally assumed?
I don't believe so. I think the Inquisitors maybe yes, but I don't think Vader is. I think he's still staying in the background. I think they think the Inquisitors are led by the Grand Inquisitors, and that is their
I tend to think so too, yeah. I mean, it's that one is more up in the air. I don't know, but like I said, I'm actually very surprised at how much the Inquisitors are known. You would think that would be something that the Empire wouldn't want to be associated with so much, that they have these, red lightsaber wielding Inquisitors.
They hunt Jedi, and Jedi are supposed to be evil, according to the propaganda of the Empire, so the Inquisitors should be looked upon as good.
I think my problem is just because the Jedi are evil, does the average person then assume that the Sith are the good guys all along? Or that anybody...
they're not Sith.
Well, no, but they're... Again, this all goes back to how much does the average person in the galaxy know what the Sith are? Red lightsaber equals Sith, green and blue equals Jedi. I mean, how much do the average citizens in the Star Wars galaxy know and understand at this point about that? I mean, I don't know. I think that's a very... Those are tough questions to answer.
Yeah, it's going to depend on what planet you're on, what system you're in.
Well, sure, but like I said, Tatooine seemed to know all about the Inquisitors.
Well, they know about the Inquisitors, but they don't know about Vader, which makes sense. I mean, they're Hutt-controlled, Outer Rim.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but at the same time, another thing, kind of little issue I see this creating is, you go to The Mandalorian now, and how does Din Djarin not know about the Jedi when it seems like everybody, 10, 15, 20 years ago, whatever on the timeline, they all knew about the Jedi, they all knew about Inquisitors. It's like saying that, that's what I never understood, because...
It's like us not knowing dinosaurs existed?
Well, no. Well, not quite that far back, but the Clone Wars was about 30 years before The Mandalorian. That's like saying we forgot about things in the early 90s. Clearly we haven't, they're not mysterious and legendary anymore. Or so.
Could it just be that Din Djarin's sect was so?
But he's out there bounty
conquered?
hunting in the galaxy. This is the guy who has to know planets. He has to know how to track people down, and he's never heard of a Jedi.
Could
I know
just
we're
be
getting
the
off topic,
Empire's
but
propaganda, though.
what propaganda? They have Inquisitors hunting Jedi across the galaxy. They're
But we know that that's
openly
why it's
accusing citizens of harboring Jedi and doing these things. Like, how are you hiding it and at the same time have a known group out there hunting them and the citizens of the galaxy clearly knowing about them? And that's been my problem with the series so far. Not that the show itself, speaking of Kenobi here, has been like atrocious and just completely unwatchable. It's like there's so many things that they do one thing and it's like, well, you're now contradicting other things. Like, I had a video yesterday, you close one plot hole, you open two others is kind of my title, because that's what I see happening. Like, every time you try to explain one thing or you're like, we're going to put this into the canon, well, you've now created two more problems elsewhere.
Harold wanted that scene on screen to give Ewan McGregor a dramatic scene to work with and put the character's beliefs in question. Not only was Anakin alive, but Obi-Wan's actions may have made him more dangerous and determined despite his injuries, which compounds Kenobi's guilt. Harold goes on to praise Hidalgo's responsiveness to his questions and his work as a story partner. In regards to canon and the things you can do and the things you can't do, find out very, very quickly, what's on the table and what isn't. You sort of have a big idea and you go, hey, can I do this? And someone goes, no. And you go, okay, fine. Or they say, yeah, you're allowed to do that. And then we canoodle and see if it bears fruit. Pablo's sort of a genius and was incredibly helpful and always available. And I'll always be grateful for his help, because you can't hunt any idea you can hunt any idea if he says, yeah, if you want to, you're okay there.
What ideas did they say no to? Goodness.
I don't know.
I feel like some of the ideas they said yes to were...
anything that breaks canon at the end is now Pablo Hidalgo's fault, because Harold apparently doesn't know canon at all.
Well, but he does. I mean, we know he does. He is...
But he
knows...
doesn't. He didn't know that Vader knew.
Well, he must. I don't know. It doesn't make it... Like, I know some people have issues with Pablo Hidalgo. I don't know that I have any issues with him. He knows very knowledgeable, but I don't know what's going on with him here. There are things that I can't believe he wouldn't notice or that he'd be okay with.
Don't worry.
Did he just not have the that's what I've been saying all along. I don't know how much the authority the Lucasfilm Story Group actually has to really say no. I mean, they go to them and, maybe they tell them what they think, but I'm not sure how much they can actually just, throw it on the old trump card and say you can't do that.
Well, don't worry. Harold said everything will be fixed by the end or something.
Virtually no way they could pull that off unless they spent the next two episodes trying to purposely explain everything they've kind of opened up.
Purposely concussing Leia.
Yeah, mind-wiping Leia and mind-wiping half the galaxy of the Inquisitors, and I don't know.
It's Men in Black time.
It's a very strange series. It really feels like they just wanted to tell a story with Obi-Wan and have Darth Vader in it and have their big rematch of the century, and they didn't really look at the ramifications to the lore or the canon or didn't really care that much. And if you're someone who doesn't really care about the canon and the lore and you're just enjoying it, as I've said before, that's fantastic. But for me, I mean, that's one of the things I love about Star Wars is the threads that weave through it, the story. Lightsaber battles are great, but if they don't make sense, then they don't interest me. They don't excite me.
All right, let's move on. Rumor time. All right, so please take this story with a healthy grain of salt. The rumor is the Acolyte will canonize Sith lore from Legends, as well as a known planet will make its first live-action debut. These are two separate rumors. We'll go over the first one first. The rumor is coming from the Diz Insider. For reference, this insider group has also correctly revealed the project codename for Book of Boba Fett, aka Buccaneer. So they've been correct before. The insider group says that he has heard that the Acolyte will be exploring some major Sith characters from Star Wars Legends. We're talking Darth Revan, Darth Bane, Darth Nihilus, Darth Malak, all being in the show in some capacity. As we know, Darth Bane has already been featured in canon in the Clone Wars. That was very important because, Bane is considered one of the most important Sith, as he is the creator of the Rule of Two, which in canon later helps to somehow justify the attempt to replicate the power of the dyad in the Force.
Oh, yeah, sure. Totally makes sense.
There was an interesting piece of concept art for The Rise of Skywalker. It actually, I showed it to you. It's up on the screen now. So it actually featured Revan, Malak, and Nihilus. Very interesting. I mean, they probably were going to have that piece of art somewhere in that Sith temple on Exegol. So this shows that Disney has at least been giving those characters some thought. I mean, one of the units of troopers in Rise of Skywalker was named for Revan. We don't know what, the important part of this information, the how. How are these characters going to be included? We're talking flashbacks, holocron recordings, force visions.
You better not be like Force Ghost.
Well, why not? Darth Bane was a force ghost.
Yeah, everybody always brings up Bane in the Clone Wars, but that was like a remnant. Even Yoda calls him out as being like you don't exist. You're just like a stain in the Force kind of thing.
Right. I mean,
so maybe she does. Maybe they go to Moraban, formerly known as Korriban, which is I'm assuming is the planet you're talking is.
I told you these are two very separate rumors.
Oh, these are separate rumors. Well, they kind of would link together. I mean, that's the planet you're talking about, right? Or no, is it a different planet?
I'm talking about a different planet.
Oh, well, I would assume if they go to Moraban / Korriban, whatever you want to call it, it's now Moraban in the new canon, they could encounter some of these ghosts, these lingering stains upon the Force that aren't really Force ghosts, they're not really them, they're just the kind of the evil they've left upon the Force itself, I guess.
Well, I mean, it makes sense if this is going to show us where the Sith kind of reemerge to start their train of power-up that leads to eventually Palpatine.
Yeah,
to see visions of the past.
Isn't Plagueis rumored as well, along with us?
He's not in the specific rumor, which is what I'm talking about.
Okay, I thought there was another rumor of Plagueis, but I mean, that's been something we've, speculated could be, that this could lead to Plagueis, and I mean, I don't know about the Sith are re-emerging as much as they're
coming out of the shadows.
Yeah, coming out of the shadows.
Their plans to kind of take control.
Yeah, not like being born again. They've been there the whole time, in theory,
so,
of 1,000 years.
Finding flashbacks, remnants, force visions, holocrons, these could be things that lead the Acolyte down the path of the dark side.
I mean, that sounds possibly cool.
They just have to be careful because these are beloved characters.
Jeez, yes.
You can't mess them up.
Sure, we said that about Obi-Wan and Boba Fett. Plus, they are supposed to be
Old Republic, so we shouldn't be seeing them like present-day Acolyte in the flesh.
Yeah, I'm very curious if this rumor is true, how this will actually play out. Like I said, the idea here almost sounds like they're going to rediscover the Sith instead of the Sith having been hiding in the shadows for 1,000 years with the rule of two, building up from Bane. I don't know how fans are going to feel about that one. I don't know how I feel about that one. So,
well, we don't have enough information to feel anyway,
true.
Really.
That's why I'm not going to get upset. I'm just saying that if that's what they're implying, that someone is going to like rediscover the Sith 100 years before, the prequel trilogy, and it's just going to be like, if it's just going to be from this character to Plagueis to Sidious, and that's just the new Sith way, I don't really know how that's going to fly with fans.
Okay, let's move on to the second part of the rumor. Batuu, the galaxy's edge planet, is going to be in an upcoming live-action project.
No surprise there. I'm surprised it hasn't been already in anything.
This could mean anything from Skeleton Crew to Ahsoka to Taika Waititi's movie. Depending on when in the timeline we travel there, it could look quite a bit different from the Disney parks, as specifically the Disney park version has heavy influence from the First Order and the Resistance having their presence there.
I think there's almost no way it doesn't look almost straight out of Galaxy's Edge, just to hype that up.
I mean, I don't know when exactly Black Spire Outpost was constructed and what its original purpose was. Was it always kind of a prison type thing?
Well, Batuu has been in some of the books and stuff. It was in the Thrawn trilogy.
But it's going to make it into
second one.
Live action.
Yeah, I'm not... like I said, I'm stunned it wasn't in like the sequel trilogy at all. I'm surprised they didn't stop there in The Rise of Skywalker for no reason whatsoever other than to, hey, you can come here in real life.
All right, well, with that, we'll just move on to the last article today. Lucasfilm has a panel at D23 on Saturday, September 10th. September 9th through 11th at the Anaheim Convention Center is the D23 Expo, and the schedule for the event has been revealed, showing that Lucasfilm will share a panel with Marvel Studios on September 10th. Here's what they had to say about the upcoming presentation. Filmmakers, celebrity talent, and surprise guests will join representatives from Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm, among other, on stage in Hall D23 at 10 a.m. to showcase theatrical and Disney Plus titles. Going behind the scenes of these studios' highly anticipated films, specials, and series, Attendees will see exclusive footage and be among the first to learn what else is in the works. I recommend keeping your anticipation in check for this. The panel is shared with Marvel, and we don't know how much Star Wars they're going to actually show. For all we know, they're only going to talk about the upcoming Willow series and Indiana Jones movie, but who can say for sure? I mean, maybe an Ahsoka preview, Tales of the Jedi, or a Visions trailer if we don't have one by then, or even maybe the name of Taika Waititi's project.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect too much a couple months after Celebration.
Well, it's a shared panel. We have to keep that
Yeah.
very much in mind. It's not just a Star Wars panel.
Yeah, maybe sneak peeks at things already coming and known about Ahsoka or Mando Season 3, another little teaser trailer for that. Who knows? I don't think they're going to have any big announcements there. I'd be surprised.
No. But like I said, you might get a preview for something that we have not seen yet.
Yeah, sure. Well, we didn't get to see officially any of their little previews from Celebration either, like Mandalorian, Ahsoka, Tales of the Jedi even had a little sneak peek. They saw the first episode, so...
Yep, and we haven't seen anything.
Nope, probably going to be the same D23.
I mean, there's a rumor that Taika Waititi's movie is moving on schedule, and that the filming for that's going to be starting up sooner than expected, so...
Well, there's the possibility still December of next year, and if that's the case...
they said he's an efficient filmmaker, so...
Well, he'd have to be very efficient to get that thing done. I mean, don't rush it either. Come on, that's going to be the first Star Wars film in like 4 years.
Not saying rushing, just efficient.
Sure. All I'm saying is don't rush it, because your return to the theater needs to be something special after the Rise of Skywalker, I think, was kind of not so special. All right, well, I guess that's all we got for you this time. So take to the comments below. Tell us what you think of any of today's stories or what we had to say about them. And let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.